Looks like you just rolled a nat 20 on entertainment, because we're taking a look at Dungeons and Dragons, the animated series, this week on the Why Is This a Cartoon Cast? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Why Is This a Cartoon Cast? It's the only show on the internet where we take a look at animated adaptations and ask the essential question, hey, why is this a cartoon? I'm your host, Joey. Joining me is Tim.
Yo!
And we are back for Season 2, back with a vengeance.
Arr.
The episodes are going to be longer, the cartoons are going to be worse, and we've both got giant beards now.
Yarr. Yeah, that whole long 2-3 weeks we took off, man, the beard just fucking grew.
We grew out our playoff beards. Back with a vengeance, kicking it off on a high note with Dungeons and Dragons, the animated series.
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely.
From 1983, vintage ski.
Yeah, year before I was born.
And of course, this is based off the landmark role-playing experience created by Gary Gygax.
God rest his soul.
And some other guy who doesn't get any credit.
Yeah, well, Gary Gygax is the one that matters.
The Wozniak of the operation.
Yeah.
No surprise here. We both love Dungeons and Dragons. We're huge nerds.
Absolutely. I feel the itch usually, like, more and more as of late to get back into the boots of my halfling warlock and just fucking melt faces again.
Well, my main was a dwarven fighter named Dardoga Steelstone.
Basil Stonefoot. Indeed. Yeah, we're nerds. Big surprise, right? Spoiler alert.
I myself started on 3.5e. Now we're doing 5th edition, and it's all right. I don't love it as much as 3.5, but it's pretty cool. It is what it is.
I started on 3.5 too. I'm a slightly modified one. My DM Dave, you know him. He modified it a bit, and it kept getting more and more different as the years went by. I do miss playing though. Like it's honest to God, I'd love to be able to get.
Dude, I just miss, like, we play so rarely now. The group that I'm in. But, like, when we first started back in high school, it would be like we all go over to Andrew's house and we're just there playing for 9 hours
Yeah.
straight.
When I started playing, that was the same thing. Me, my DM Dave and his husband Rob, well, boyfriend back then, we would just get pack into Rob's car, go down to our friend Tom's house, and, like, we'd go down at, like, noon and we'd be done at, like, 10 o'clock at night. Like, we would just sit there and play. Like, it was delightful.
This is the story of my first time playing Dungeons and Dragons. I was over at Andrew's house. We were playing Baldur's Gate on GameCube, and that game sucked ass.
Yeah, it did.
It was terrible. I looked over and I'm like, why do you have a kitchen table in your bedroom? Do you play D&D or something? And he was like, yeah, of course. And I was like, can we play D&D right now? So we called up several other people. And that was... My life was ruined from then on. And at the end of the session, my mom called me. I think I was like 15 at the time. My mom called me. She was like, when are you coming home? It was like 9 o'clock at night. I was like, Mom, I just found a treasure chest. I need to resolve this right now. Yeah, I've loved D&D ever since. I play it as much as I can whenever we can get the people together.
Fucking A. And, well, my first true D&D, because I had played Cyberpunk a little bit back when I was really young, and it was more my brother getting me to shut up, and he let me play like twice, and then they killed me, and that was it. So, years later, 2003-ish, I'd met my friend Rob, and, I talked about, I played Cyberpunk before. I kind of knew, like, I took one look at him. I kind of knew that he played tabletop games. I kind of got the feeling, I guess, and we were talking about it.
Yeah, Rob is one of those people who looks like he plays tabletop games.
Wait, easy there, killer. Anyway.
We love you, Rob.
We do.
I have no idea who you are.
So anyway, he's like, well, me and my friend Dave, we play D&D all the time with our friend Tom. And so Rob goes, well, me, my friend Dave, and our friend Tom play D&D all the time. Like, would you be interested in joining? And I was like, yeah, I wouldn't mind trying it out. And so that weekend, we headed down to Tom's house, and I rolled up my first character. And, there's an old trope where your first character is your worst character. And
my first character is my only character. I've been Dardoga Steelstone since fucking...
So... Well,
10th grade.
Do you want to know what he was? An arsenalist mage. So, because
magic user for your first character.
Yeah,
That's
well, don't worry, because I'll tell you what kind of fucking travesty this was. And you know what I named him?
What's his name?
His name was Tim. His name was fucking Tim. And
my name is Tim.
so I did not understand how weak magic users were until I played this character. Well, I didn't know. And I played him more like a fighter than a mage. And it ended up, he used the crossbow more often than his fucking spells. Like, it was just fucking sad. And then it ended up a wood golem that was attacking Waterdeep, picked him up, split him in half, like ripped them in half and threw the two ends opposite directions. And then I'm like, oh, that's the end of him. Well, I guess that's a lesson learned right there. So I rolled up a ranger after that. And it turns out I am much better at melee characters than I am at magic users. The exception being my last main, which was Basil Stonefoot, the warlock. Because warlocks, there's a lot less bookkeeping. It's just, here's your blast, here's your shape. What are you doing with it? That's it. I love the warlock class, so I'm gonna.
I would never recommend anybody starts with a freaking mage or a wizard. Like,
oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Start as an acrobat.
Start as an acrobat. Yeah. Honestly,
go far.
I always thought a good starting class. Like everybody says, fighter. Don't start as fighters are boring.
Start as a dwarven fighter.
Fighters are boring.
Be the worst tank ever.
Yeah. Start as like a rogue. Rogues are a good time because they're so jack of all trades.
Yeah, nobody
Rogues
expects you to do much as a rogue.
But honest to God, some of my best performing characters have been rogues. But that's D&D discussion, and we're talking about D&D.
Yeah, we're talking about the cartoon from 1983. So this was advanced. This was the second edition, AD&D.
Oh, it wasn't even second edition. I wouldn't even call it that. It was just AD&D at that point.
Yeah.
Second ed came out a few years later, I think in '87, and it ran for a long time.
3 seasons, yeah.
Well,
27 episodes.
Well, I was saying Second Ed ran for a long time. It ran from like 87. It ran from 87 to like.
I'm trying to get on topic with the show.
Fuck topic. Anyway, till third edition came out in like the late 90s. So it ran for a good decade.
Yeah, they get a lot of time out of there, except for fourth edition, which nobody fucking played
because it was ass.
As far as I know,
it was total ass. Like fifth edition is like the apology for fourth edition. I feel like
fifth edition was like the reboot because they simplified everything.
I have the source books in the other room, and honestly, I think it's definitely it's not
from the very little I've played of it. I like it.
I like the whole advantage disadvantage thing, stuff like that. But we're getting in. This is not a D&D podcast. This is a cartoon.
I wish it was. There's too many D&D podcasts. Which is crazy to think about.
Yeah. Well,
but
figure out how popular it is.
27 episodes. Did you watch this as a kid?
No. Honestly, I didn't. This is not my first experience with it. I watched it later as an early 20s person. I watched actually that first episode. And I don't remember liking it, but then watching it again now, actually I really did enjoy it. I was like, damn, this is pretty good. So, but I watched it in my early 20s, having not played D&D.
I have a, so you watched it before you actually played D&D?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I got a bootleg VHS tape that had a bunch of episodes on it. Not like recorded off TV, like this was like a legit bootleg, like somebody made a cover and everything. I think my uncle got it from like some comic convention in the freaking 90s or whatever. But yeah, I didn't watch this episode, but I just watched like a couple of random episodes. This is a good show. This is just off the bat, this is a really good show.
D&D has a lot of potential for movies and cartoons and TV series and everything. Like they could do a Game of Thrones D&D series.
Like I haven't watched every episode of this, but I guarantee there's one where the Beholder is the main enemy of the episode.
That would be great.
There's got to be.
27
episodes. There's got to be.
I mean,
yeah. Let's jump into it.
Yeah.
After I burp.
Yep.
This is one of those shows where the opening credits kind of gives you the backstory. It's 5 kids.
5 kids. Right? 5? Let me think. Because we have
the Ranger,
the
Cavalier, which that's like a paladin, right?
I think it's
the same thing.
You can tell how old it is because I think it's the old name for the class.
It's the old school classes.
Yeah.
Ranger, Paladin, or Ranger, Cavalier, Barbarian, Thief, and Acrobat.
Yeah.
Which is like the Dazzler of
yeah.
this show.
Well, let's face it. This is from an era when elf was a class, not a race.
Yeah. But also the Acrobat is dressed up like a barbarian. Like halfway through the episode, like I forgot what she was, and I was like, "Is she a barbarian?" Because it's kind of racist that the black character is like a savage.
No, she's an acrobat.
She's an acrobat, just dressed in furs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, provocatively too.
But these kids. We're already ahead of ourselves. Like these kids get on an amusement park ride that's Dungeons and Dragons themed. That's the coolest thing.
I know. If I owned a theme park, there would be a Dungeons and Dragons part of it.
Yeah, they get on this ride, and it sends them to a magical land of Dungeons and Dragons
with a short man,
the short wizard known as the Dungeon Master. Yeah.
Who's the Deus Ex Dragona of this episode.
Well, he's the Dungeon Master. He can do whatever he wants.
He's the Dragon Ex Machina of this show.
And the Scrappy Doo of this show.
No. Oh, yeah, there is a Scrappy Doo.
Yeah.
That fucking
the unicorn. Yeah, Uni the unicorn. Scrappy the Scrappy Doo.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's like a baby unicorn. And, like, the exposition's really short. Like, you're in this magical land, and now you must do this quest in order to get home. And it's like, boom, show starts.
Yeah. And the characters themselves, the ranger is the Leonardo. He's the leader.
Yep.
Blonde kid, blue eyes. The why do I keep wanting to say Chanticleer? What is he?
Cavalier.
Cavalier.
Say paladin.
The paladin is the douchebag rich kid.
Yep.
The thief is the girl.
Yeah.
And she has a younger brother who's the barbarian. And then the other girl, the two girls don't really, like, they're the same.
Yeah. They're the girl.
Yeah, the girls.
They
don't have much personality via episode 1.
Now, anybody out there currently spazzing out about gender roles and such like this, just remember it was 1983. Calm the fuck down. Anyway, hey, my first F-bomb of season 2.
Yeah, great. So much for those sponsorships.
I'll keep them to a minimum.
How are we going to get MeUndies now?
MeUndies. This episode is brought to you by MyPillow.
Did you ever use that pillow that I gave you that I found on the street?
No, it's still in the back of the car. I'm going to wash it.
Oh, my God. That was like 4 months ago.
You never know when you might need a pillow in the back of the car, okay?
Well, you should always carry a towel, but...
In case you get wet. No, let's reference something even better than South Park. Yes, always carry a towel because you never know when you might need it because every good hitchhiker has their towel.
All right, so we're back from another unexpected commercial break via my urethra. So this episode starts, we jump right into the action. The kids are wandering the wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
And they run into Tiamat.
Yeah, Tiamat, the multi-headed dragon.
Multi-headed dragon creature who's super magical and definitely too advanced a boss for these
yeah, I know, right?
starter level characters.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the barbarian kid, everybody's pissed at him, but all he's doing is acting like a barbarian by charges.
He's the tank.
He's the tank. He charges in. And everyone's like, no, don't. So Tiamat's like he goes to swing at Tiamat, but the ranger uses his magical bow that shoots magical arrows. I want to point out that every kid has a fucking magical item. You don't give a level 1 character a magical item. Ever.
Well, it's at DM's discretion.
Yeah, DM's discretion if they want to break their game. Anyway, uses his magical bow to shoot the magical club of the barbarian and stick him to a rock so he doesn't get smashed by Tiamat. Then what happens? The girl.
The thief.
The thief.
The thief lures Tiamat into a cave, and then the barbarian knocks a giant rock to cover the cave entrance.
Yes.
A la Jesus Christ.
Yes.
So this is a religious cartoon on the same vein as Davy and...
Davy and Goliath.
Davy and Goliath. Davy, Godzilla says I should learn to fight my own battle.
Oh my God. I hope you don't do that in the next episode. I'm so tired of hearing that. Anyway. So...
After that, the Dungeon Master shows up.
Yep, out of nowhere. Bink! And he's this short little Danny DeVito character.
Yeah, and he's like, I think you guys should go this way.
Yeah, like you got...
Freaking the worst thing you can do as a Dungeon Master is railroad the campaign.
Goddamn right. Let them go where they want and then work around.
Let it happen. If your players choose to spend 9 hours, real life, in town doing nonsense... That is their own damn right.
The bar fight took 3 of those hours alone.
I want to go talk to the shopkeeper. Have you heard any rumors?
Oh my God. Listen, could be worse. Could be like one character focusing on an undead goat that's literally just a goat standing in the middle of a paddock.
What?
That's okay. So here's the story. So my party was in a underground area with this old town that was full of undead and stuff like that. There's like we were searching for something. It was a long time ago. The one player who I won't name because, so there is like, oh my God, what's that? What do I see? You see a goat. It looks zombified in the middle of this paddock. What's it doing right now? It's eating grass.
How is it zombified if it's eating grass?
Yeah, this is what I mean. Well, it was just an undead goat. Let's just understand. It was an undead goat. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to keep an eye on it. Okay.
Good for you.
Good for you. And he's like so infatuated with this fucking goat that's literally just an undead goat standing there not doing anything. Because apparently in undead form, the goat acted like a fucking goat still. And everybody's finally to the point where it's bad when a good DM stops and goes, okay, I'm going to pull back the veil here for a second. There's nothing with the goat. It's just a goat. You should probably move on.
That goat was set decoration.
It's all it was. It was like to explain where they got like these skins that spells were printed on, like this undead skin that they used to print spells on, because it had missing pieces in its flesh. Like that's all it was a quick, oh hey, this is where they got that from. Cool, huh? Nope. No, I'm gonna focus on the motherfucking goat standing there. Meanwhile, the rest of the party is off fucking fighting ghouls and Baylors and shit like that coming out of the fucking woodwork, and he's fucking watching that goat, making sure it's not gonna do nothing. Oh my God.
So the dungeon master comes down and he explains the plot of the series.
Yes.
You have to go to this town. They were ravaged by dragons a long time ago, and then Merlin the magician.
He didn't say anything about Merlin.
Didn't he?
No. He just said that for good magic.
Yeah, okay. They were attacked by dragons, and then good magic sent the dragons away.
Yes.
Watch out for Venger. That's the name of the bad guy.
Yeah, he's all the evil.
You can tell he's evil because his name is Venger.
Yeah.
And he's only got one horn.
Yeah. It's like Tim the Enchanter.
Yeah.
Not Tim the Arsenalist Mage. We don't talk about him. Anyway.
So he tells them to go to this village. And watch out for Venger. He can take the appearance of many forms, but you will know him from his white hair.
Yeah. From his white hair. So I'm sitting there. We're watching this, by the way. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, is it this? Is it that? No, shut up.
So the kids start walking, and Richie Rich, the paladin, is like, all this walking is making me tired.
I wish I had my dad's
limousine. And then they're like, oh, we're hungry. So this is the child stereotypes for all of the characters. I don't think we got through this before.
No.
The paladin is, or not the paladin, the fucking ranger. The ranger is Leonardo. Yeah. He's the leader.
No, we did touch on this.
Richie Rich. Oh, we didn't talk about the sorcerer though. The wizard kid.
The wizard kid is the nerd.
He's the dweeb. Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. That wraps that discussion from earlier.
Well, we didn't talk the wizard. So the wizard's like, oh, I'll pull some tasty hamburgers out of my hat.
Yeah, because he has a magical wizard's hat that lets him summon anything he wants. Dude, that'd be like 10,000 GP at least.
Super OP.
Yeah.
So
it's a hat of many things.
It's a bag of holding on his head.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'll get us some hamburgers out of my hat. He pulls out a full-size cow, still alive.
Yeah, and of course they make that joke, I don't like my burgers that rare.
Just walking by the grill. Just describe a fire to it.
That's how I like my steak.
Just wipe its ass and put it on my plate.
So, and then they're like, oh, and they see a sign, Merlin's Castle this way. And I'm trying to think, Merlin is not a D&D character.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. He's really not.
He's public domain, so you could use it.
Yeah, it's true. So it's like, Merlin's Castle this way. They're like, oh, cool. So they keep walking, and they see another sign, Merlin's Castle this way, pointing in the opposite direction, 10 feet away. They're like, what? It's pointing the opposite direction. Where could the castle be? Look up, stupid.
No, I don't think they should reasonably.
Their perception checks hard.
They did fail their perception checks.
Well, the acrobat actually passed her perception check because she said, look up in the sky. Oh, wow. Merlin lives in this floating castle? Where else would Merlin live? I don't know. In a fucking tower on the edge of a cliff like normal wizards?
So they meet Merlin. He's an old man in robes with a long gray beard.
Yep.
Stroking a white rabbit. Rabbit.
Yeah.
Stroking a white rabbit.
All right. Joke's over. Anyway.
Another word for rabbit is maybe a clue to the twist in this, the Shyamalan twist in this episode. So anyway, you know who else shows up at Merlin's house conveniently at the same time? It's Tiamat.
Oh, no way.
Yes, way. When Tiamat shows up, first of all, I don't like how blasé these kids are reacting. Especially the wizard. The wizard kid does not react to anything the way you would want someone to react to all these devastating life events that happen to him. Like,
yeah.
Oh no, it's Tiamat. Like he's more like just mildly inconvenienced than, oh my god, I'm about to die. So they're like, it was just a long pause.
Yeah, awkward silence.
So they're like, oh my god, how do we get rid of Tiamat?
God, we're terrible. Anyway,
Tiamat chases them through Merlin's castle.
Yep.
They eventually come upon a dungeon door.
It's inescapable.
Yes, Merlin explicitly says, because somebody's like, oh, let's go down there. I think Richie Rich.
Yeah.
And then Merlin's like, no, it's inescapable.
So
inescapable, meaning cannot be escaped from.
Yes. This will come up later. Anyway. So then the blonde kid's like, well, help me out with this door. And he starts trying to crank, and
he starts
nobody
cranking the
fucking
drawbridge.
moves.
He starts cranking a drawbridge. Guys, give me a hand. They'll just stand there. And then, what the fuck is the wizard kid's name? It's something to do with magic.
I have the characters: Hank, Eric, Diana, Presto, the magician.
Presto, yeah. Why doesn't he have a normal people's name?
I don't know, because everyone's like Shayla or Sheila.
Hank, Eric, Diana, Sheila, Bobby, and Presto.
And Presto.
That's a normal person's name.
Yes, it is. Listen here. It's better than what I named my kids. Zagnut and Superfly. Anyway.
Fuzz in the Claw.
Yeah.
Oh, his real name's Albert, better known as Presto.
Or is he a prince?
He fulfills the role of a well-meaning, diligent, but hopeless magician. He suffers from low self-confidence and nervousness, which manifests in the use of his magical hat. He is able to pull an endless succession of various tools from it, but often these will be numerous. But often these will be, or appear to be, of little use. Mm-hmm. There are also numerous instances where the whole group is in danger, whereupon Presto will draw from his hat precisely what is needed in order to save all of his friends. Although, like all the kids, Presto yearns to return home. In The Last Illusion, Presto finds his soulmate, an illusion power girl named Varla, and makes friends with the fairy dragon Amber. So yeah. So that's like haberdashery ex machina right there on that hat. Anyway, so they cover it up. What he says, what Eric or Hank says, oh, Presto, pull out a rug from your hat. Okay. And he literally pulls a rug out of his hat. I did it!
Hooray for me! Anyway, so they cover the hole down to the dungeon up with a rug, and Tiamat just literally walks between all of them on top of the fucking rug.
Tiamat totally falls for it. What a stupid dragon.
I know. Tiamat's like a level fucking billion encounter. Like, she should have an intelligence of like fucking 28 and a wisdom of like 30. Like, I'm sorry. No, I ain't falling for it. So, and then she falls down into the dungeon. And after she falls down in the dungeon, they close the door over top of her. So she's trapped in the dungeon.
While we're doing Ex Machinas, I do have a Tiamat-sized hole Ex Machina.
Yeah.
Very conveniently sized dungeon door.
And very convenient that Tiamat shows up precisely where she might be needed later on. Dude, worst DM ever is all I'm saying.
So after they solve that conundrum, Merlin is talking to them. He's like, yeah, I wish I had someone to teach all my wizard stuff to before I pass on. And then Presto's like, hey, maybe that sounds like not a bad idea. And the other kids are talking. Oh, Presto would never leave us. As they're leaving the castle, Presto's like, okay, guys, I'll see you later. Never. I'm going to live here forever.
I want to point out that they said something about Merlin's white rabbit. And he goes, oh, it's not a rabbit. It's a hare.
A white hare.
A white hare.
Bum, bum, bum. Actually, no. Cue Keenan Ivory Wayans. Message.
Message.
I gotta find that sound clip.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't know. Did you hear my hand slap my face when he said that?
No, because you weren't paying attention.
Oh.
You were discording with Rob.
No, I was Steam chatting with Rob. Thank you very much. Discord was on the other window.
So Presto becomes Merlin's heir, and his first duty is to stir a cauldron.
Yes.
Merlin explicitly says, "Do not stop stirring this cauldron." He walks away. As soon as Merlin walks away,
Yeah.
Presto drops the spoon and walks over to the spellbook.
Yeah, the spellbook's sitting there to find a spell to bring him and all of his friends home.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, there it is. So he starts gathering up ingredients.
Well, no, the camera pans to a candle and then cuts to the candle much shorter to show that time had passed.
It's like, what, did Merlin like get fucking Alzheimer's all of a sudden and forget he was supposed to come back?
Yeah, Merlin just bounced.
Dude. I feel like that's going to be a common theme this season, is fucking characters just bouncing on each other.
Possibly.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So the kid's like, "Oh, hey, here's that spell the exact spell I was looking for." Even though Merlin did say that he could not send us home, he could just tell us where we're going. So he gathers up all the ingredients. I have newt, testicle, frog, that kind of thing.
Bat's claws.
Yeah. Petrified spider eyes, that kind of thing.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Ew. Anyway, and he dumps them all in the cauldron. And then suddenly a big poof.
A bunch of dragons fly out of the cauldron. And this is his reaction. No lie. This is his exact tone. Oh, no.
That's not gonna get us home. So, Merlin, he goes running down the hallway. And it cuts to the main group.
Yeah, it cuts to the other group. They're at this little dwarf village. Everybody's like, yeah, we celebrate every year on this day because the dragons are gone.
Yeah. Hey, it seems like your team is enjoying our celebration. That's exactly how he says it, too. So, like the barbarian kids...
barbarian kids playing baseball. The girls are at a fortune teller.
Who's like, oh, no, I see the dragons. Like, really fucking... Oh, my God. So... What? You see dragons, and they all run out of the tent. Then it cuts back to Presto, and he finds Merlin. He's like, didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to do it. And he's like, well, did you try to cast a spell to send you and your friends home? Yes.
I switched the spells around, you idiot.
Because only good magic could undo what Merlin did. But you're Merlin. No, I'm actually...
Jigga, 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 jigga.
Yeah.
Venjo.
That sounds like an 80s hair metal band name.
I have in my notes that the white hair was a red herring, but that ended up not being the case. But I still wanted to point out that I have that note because I thought it was a good note.
It was red herring. Anyway.
The white hair was a red herring.
Nah. So, he turns into Avenger, touring this year with Striper and Jackal with a Y. Anyway, and Venger shows up and he's like, ha, you're an idiot. Give me your hat. And the kid gives him his fucking hat. And then Venger flies off. So the kids are back at the village and the dragons are coming in. Everybody run for cover. We're burning the village. They're burning the village down. They're like, we better get back to Merlin's castle so he can help stop this. And they ride back to the castle on horses. On 3 horses. There's 5 of them. Remember that. Anyway, on 3 horses. And they climb up the ladder. And there's a dragon-sized hole in the side of the fucking wall.
That's weird.
Yeah. Oh my God. Maybe Tiamat made it? We don't know. We do know. But
we know.
We know. They don't know. Because that would be metagaming.
We have an omniscient point of view.
So, by the way, I want to point out this whole thing is a prime example of why you never split the party.
Yeah.
Never split the fucking party. If you come to a fork in the dungeon...
That is a number 1 DM mistake.
Yeah. Well,
that's a rookie mistake.
PC, yeah. So you come to a T intersection in said junction. You know what you do? Everybody goes right and sees what's going on down there. Then everybody comes back and goes left to see what's going on down there.
Yep.
That it might take a lot longer, but guess what? You aren't stuck with the fucking sorcerer and the rogue facing down a horde of orcs while the fighter's trying to figure out this puzzle. Okay, so
yeah.
that's pretty much what happens. It happens every fucking time. So anyway, they find the kid and he's all like, "Yo, it was Venger the whole time." No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no way.
Merlin's been dead for 1,000 years.
What a loser. Anyway, every good wizard's immortal, and everybody know it. Like, Hallister Blackcloak and Elminster and all them. They're all... No, they aren't immortal, are they? They're dead. Fuck, never mind.
What are you saying?
I play in Forgotten Realms, so their characters
Well, this isn't Forgotten Realms, the animated series.
Dude, that'd be cool.
You're not allowed to pitch that.
Well, it's because D&D and the animated series already exists. Maybe Pathfinder animated series.
Okay, so they're all in the castle.
Yep.
Venger's in the castle. They need to stop Venger. You're like, oh God, what do we do?
What's the only thing Venger's afraid of?
Tiamat the dragon. Too bad we threw him in the inescapable dungeon. So they run to the dungeon door, crank that boy open.
And Tiamat comes right the fuck out.
Very little difficulty.
And makes a beeline for Venger.
Yes.
Like, doesn't even fucking... Oh, look, a bunch of weak snacks.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah, that didn't get us in trouble. Moving on. That's never backfired in D&D either. Anyway.
Well, we stopped the guy who was after us, but we've unleashed unholy evil onto the land.
I want to point out, I think that happens in more campaigns than anybody might think, where it's like, we managed to stop this villain, but unfortunately we brought about the plague of undead upon the entire
It's like that
world.
episode of SpongeBob where they're babysitting Sandy's butterfly. Like, we did it! We saved the city!
It's all on fire.
Yes.
I want to point out that you're the second person to reference that episode of SpongeBob this week for me. So anyway... So Tiamat makes a beeline for Venger, and he takes off through a conveniently placed secret door.
Yes, very convenient secret door.
What happens to Tiamat then?
Tiamat crashes through the wall and chases after him.
Oh, yeah. And then disappears for the rest of the episode. Wasn't that
Well,
convenient?
the episode's over at this point.
Pretty much. So they're like, oh, Pizzazz or whatever your name is. That was a kid's
Presto.
name. Presto. I was close. Pizzazz.
Pizzazz.
Presto, you have to stop the dragons. Oh, but I'm a dumbass. So he's like, you can do it. And so he goes over and he like dumps the shit in the cauldron again, and he casts the dumbest sounding spell ever. And
Klaatu Barada. No.
I said it. I said the words.
I said your damn magic words.
Not every syllable. Anyway, he's like, I failed. I told you. No, look, the dragons are disappearing, you blind little shithead.
Yeah.
So the dragons disappear. And they leave the castle, and they're standing out in the middle of the wasteland where the castle floats off, and Presto's all like, "Oh, but I lost my hat," and then DM
The dungeon master shows back up.
He's like, "I wouldn't be so sure about that," and he pulls the valuable magic item that the player lost out of his fucking pocket and hands it to him.
Fucking railroading the campaign.
And just give the players what they want, because I'm sure there's not going to be some character that comes in and saves the group that's obviously controlled by the DM later on. We don't do that. This should just be like the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
This is like how to not play D&D.
It really, the entire episode is how to not play D&D. Oh, hey, we got our hat. And then come on.
And then the kids ride off into the sunset onto their next adventure.
Yep, but we're missing a whole scene here.
Yeah, well, no, I'm leading you into it.
Oh, okay. So basically, then Presto gets up on a horse. Everybody else is up on horses, and he looks down at the Cavalier douchebag kid. And he's like, "Come on, hop on." "Oh no, I want my own steed." And so he's like, "Fine, I'll give you a steed." And he reaches in his hat and pulls that fucking cow out. And they're like, "Yeah, see you later, loser." And they ride off into the sunset without him while he's sitting.
And then he gives the quote of the episode. I don't ride anything that gives milk. Oh, you will learn.
Joe, of course, had said, "Why don't you pull an IROC Z out of your ass?" And that's the end of the episode. We cut the credits then at that point.
Yeah, that's the end of the episode. So Dungeons and Dragons, did this deserve to be a cartoon?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, two big donkey thumbs up for this one. This was a great show.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
Definitely, it holds up. Like, it entertained the hell out of me.
It's same here. Absolutely the same here. Like I said, we talked a lot about regular D&D, but
there's so much. Like, it only lasted 27 episodes, but this could have gone on forever. There's so many things you can do with it. It's just it's such a good world. There's so much good lore, like so many cool creatures. Like, this could have ran forever.
Honestly, I wonder what, like, I guess there isn't a campaign setting that it takes place in because they didn't want to nail it down, maybe, or maybe the writers didn't know enough about D&D. Like, they had just done some quick research and that was the end of it.
Yeah.
But like, honestly, there's infinite things you can do in D&D, and yeah, this series could have ran from 1983 till 2013, and not even batted an eye with all.
Yeah, it's crazy that there was never, like, nobody ever tried to do it again.
Yeah.
Like, I know there were a couple, like, sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
But.
Oh God, yeah, the one with oh God, the Fourth Doctor. Why can't I remember his name right now? From Doctor Who, played the villain in the D&D movie.
Oh, with the wow. Brother. The scarf guy? That's the seventh.
Yeah, that's the Fourth Doctor. Oh God, and I apologize, fellow nerds, for
Scarfington.
Scarfington. But anyway, the Fourth Doctor played the villain in the movie with the Wayans brother. Yeah, no shit, right?
There's a Wayans brother in a D&D movie?
Yeah, in the first D&D movie that was really terrible. And like, it sucks that like everything D&D related that was put out after that, even the games. Some of them
games are really cool, like the early computer games.
You mean like Eye of the Beholder and stuff?
And the arcade beat 'em ups are dope as hell.
Oh my God, the one that was like Golden Axe.
Yeah. There were a couple.
Oh yeah, there weren't there?
Yeah.
And you could pick your class. They all did a different thing. Now, yeah, so this absolutely deserves to be a cartoon. It deserves to be a cartoon again. Like, I really feel like we're missing an opportunity here.
Just a fantasy, like a high fantasy cartoon, like, it's weird that there's not one. Yeah. There hasn't been one since freaking Dave the Barbarian.
Barbarian. I thought that cartoon was fucking amazing. I don't care what anybody says.
Using quick thinking, Dave constructs a microphone out of some string, a squirrel, and a microphone. Chuckles, the evil piggy.
That show was way more funny than people gave it credit for.
Dave the Barbarian was amazing.
It was. Like, to the point where I was like in my mid-20s when it came on, and I watched the fucking shit out of it. So, and like, I feel like D&D in and of itself, so not even cartoon related, deserves more multimedia. Like, could you imagine? Okay, are you familiar with the Drizzt books, like all the Dark Elf books?
Are those written by Piers Anthony?
I guess.
What?
I don't remember.
They're not.
No, they're not.
I was just trying to drop a Piers Anthony reference.
They're R.A. Salvatore, but moving on.
Ew.
Well, you don't like R.A. Salvatore?
He's the worst.
You're a douche. Anyway, but I could see those as like an HBO original series, like Game of Thrones style. Like, could you imagine a D&D? Like, let's face it, Game of Thrones pretty much is D&D, the fucking live action series. Just the party members are completely split up and keep fucking up shit. But like, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, there's definitely a place for it. I think there's definitely the fan base for it.
Yes.
D&D has made a resurgence with the 5th edition. Like, there's an audience for Dungeons and Dragons media, and I want more of it.
I do too.
This definitely deserved to be a cartoon. It's highly recommended. This is probably one of the best shows we've watched.
One of. But let's face it, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes and Toxic Crusaders.
Have I told you that I just picked up a VHS tape of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, the movie?
Yeah.
But it comes with a pack of grow your own killer tomato seeds.
Does it really? I'm pretty sure they're not viable anymore.
Well, I'll never open it, so I'll never know, but yeah.
Grow your own killer tomato seeds.
Grow your own killer tomato seeds.
That is fucking awesome.
So cool.
So,
wait, did you hear something?
Tomatoes!
Anyway. At the end of every episode, we like to give a recommendation for a show that we think would have made a good animated adaptation, fit alongside some of these things on a Saturday morning rock block. So what have you got this week for us, Tim?
What have I got this week? How about Legend, the cartoon series?
Starring Tom Cruise?
Yeah. You know what? Tom Cruise and Tim Curry reprised their roles.
Would you rather have Legend, the animated series, or Willow, the animated series?
Ooh. Because there's a lot more you could do with Willow, the animated series, honestly. The further adventures of Willow.
Glaive's up the ass. Was it Glaive or Glade?
Glaive. And are you sure you're not thinking of Krull?
Oh, shit. It is from Krull. Throw Krull in that. Would you rather have Legend, Willow, or Krull, the animated series?
My God. How about we just call it 80s sci-fi fantasy movie, the animated
80s
series.
fantasy movies, the animated series.
How about you? You got anything this week?
Yeah, how about Rock'em Sock'em Robots, the animated series?
Ooh.
Yeah, we follow a down on his luck robot. He wants to enter the robot fighting league, and he's definitely going to be friend to human companion. Basically, it's Metabots, but with the Rock'em Sock'em Robot
or
franchise.
Real Steel, the animated series, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Listen here. By the way, I want to point out Real Steel was a great movie.
Never saw it.
It was actually really good. It had Hugh Jackman in it and stuff, and it was about boxing robots and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was actually entertaining and cool. Like, I liked it. So anyway.
Yeah, Rock'em Sock'em Robots, the animated series.
I like it.
Cool. I think that's all we got for this week, guys. If you want to find us online, we are on Facebook at WITA Cartoon. Be sure to shoot us an email at witacartooncast@gmail.com.
He'll check it eventually.
Yeah, we'll check it eventually. You can follow the podcast on Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Music. We also have an RSS feed, which you can find on our Facebook page. But as for the Wise of the Cartooncast, I'm Joey.
And I'm Tim.
And we will catch you guys later.
Yo.